Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Have a Pint. Today we have Dinkelacker Oktoberfest beer from Dinkelacker-Schwaben Brau. It's a Marzen style lager. This was recommended, I think it was Royal Nas that recommended it. I might be mispronouncing that name as well as the brewery name. I want to say that, but I have a tough time with computers. I'm not sure because I couldn't refine the comment with the suggestion in it. I found a whole lot of comments that YouTube never notified me about, so I'll be interested in going back and looking through all that. But I was looking for this specific comment to make sure I knew who had recommended this, but I'm pretty sure it was Royal Nas that recommended this beer. It is 5.7% alcohol by volume. It does not list the IBUs on Untappd. 3.59 is the average rating. There is no description. And I know I want to always say where the brewery is, but I didn't look that up, and I'm pretty sure it's just Germany. Stuttgart, Germany is where it looks like it's from. And I actually do love the can. It's taller than your typical pint, but I think it is a pint. It's a little bigger than a pint. It's also thinner than a pint can. Slightly taller, slightly thinner. But I appreciate that it's not just 12 ounce. Alright, we're not going to fit all that in there. But here is the label. This is all you really need to see. Let's see how close can I get that. Oh, hey, that works really well in the middle. But yeah, I have a list on my phone of, at least from the comments I've seen, where I have all the recommendations listed. I should list who recommended it. That way I know without having to go back and look. Because I had to try and go back and look and I couldn't find the damn thing. I got far more videos than I do comments. I'm actually seriously impressed how much, what was it called? Not airtime, but time where people are watching my videos. I was actually shocked by that. I started this mostly because I don't want to write my reviews down on YouTube, on Untappd. And I thought, I like having discussions about it. One of the few things I actually like to talk about, because I don't really like to talk. It doesn't seem that way at work, because people can't get me to shut the fuck up at work. But, yeah. Oh. This is what we're going to talk about. Also in this video, because... anyways. You know, just like any other Oktoberfest, it's copper in color. You can see through it pretty well. It's not a small mug I have here. Not huge. But it ain't that small, and it's not fitting this whole damn thing in there. I'm excited to try this. Because this is a beer I have never tried before. I don't know how long it's been coming to Nebraska, because this is the first year I've seen it. No, I have not taken a shower yet. It's the weekend, I don't care. I'm at home, I don't care. And I'm not going out to impress people. I have one person to impress. And she doesn't give a shit that much if I'm, she'd prefer me not to be stinky, but, I don't have to go and do 50 million things to impress her. It smells very good. It smells like, why did I skip Oktoberfest this year? But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an import can. Other than like cheap beer like Heineken. I don't think I've ever seen an import can. At least like from Germany, I have not. But it smells like an Oktoberfest. It smells like malt. Like lightly roasted malt. So it's got a little bit of sting, just like the Anger, but not as much. It's a little more mild of a sting. There's a good amount of malt sweetness there. But that sting, and I think it is from the hops, is the big thing, but it's not that big. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be a beer where, it was originally brewed that you could start drinking in the morning and you could just drink constantly through the day. And that's what this kind of beer is supposed to be. I have one in there, and I know it's not the only one on the planet, but I have one in there that is not that way, where you drink one and that's about all you're going to drink of it, but it's the Avery Kaiser. But let's be honest. 9 times out of 10, if you're having a beer from Avery, it's probably a big as fuck beer. It probably is. There's not a whole lot that Avery does that is not huge. But yeah, it's smooth, it's crisp, it's clean. It's easy to go down. It comes in a 4-pack of cans. And I have the receipt right here. Told you that the Snosberry was $7.99. I didn't even have to look at this for that. The Shipyard Pumpkin was $12, and that was a disappointment. This was also $7.99. It was a 4-pack, just like the Snosberry. Yeah, the Snosberry was a 4-pack. And the other two I have not reviewed yet. But as much as I like Snosberry from Kincaidor for what it was and what it was trying to be, this was a damn good recommendation. Thank you for the recommendation. And I think, like I said, I think it was Royal Nas that recommended this beer. Because Sam Adams, yes, was my favorite of the American style Oktoberfest. And let's be honest, there is a big distinction between an American style Oktoberfest and a German style Oktoberfest. Because this tastes like the Einger. It has a little bit of a spice kick to it. The Americans, they just have the malt. There's no hop presence whatsoever, and that's actually kind of disappointing. But like I said, this is a good recommendation. Thank you so much for the recommendation. I'm going to do a third video today. Don't think all 3 are going to get uploaded today. I said in the last one that I'm at a point where everything is going to get uploaded the same day it gets recorded, but it's probably going to be either same day or next day, just because I'm not going to upload 3 videos today. I've done it before, but that's when I was also trying to catch up. There was a time when I had 20 or so videos on my phone, that needed to get uploaded. Granted, that was when I started the channel. It's never been that bad. But I've also had it where it was close to 10, and I was like, God damn, I gotta get these out. Some of these are 2 weeks old. There's things I'm saying in these that don't matter now, especially with it coming into college football season, and as big as I am into college football, it's not good for him to sit that long. I'm not that much into the NFL. I mean, it's Sunday at 5 p.m. I haven't watched football all day. Now at 7, I will. At 7, they play the Cheatriots. And I am sorry if you are a Cheatriots fan. No hard feelings, but y'all always cheat. And you get caught. And you don't care, which is, it's fair enough. At the end of the day, they have enough money in their franchise that they can cheat. And, if they get away with it, perfect for them. This is from their eyes. Perfect. If they don't, throw money at the problem, it goes away. It's not going to be as much money as we got from doing it. Deflategate. Cheatria fans are rolling their eyes right now, I'm sure. If any Cheatria fans are watching this. At the end of the day, this will probably get 3 views. And that's not a very high likelihood that a Cheatriots fan's watching it. But that's the whole thing with them. They have enough money, and they make enough money that they can afford to cheat. If they get caught, just throw money at it, it goes away. Whereas, and I will talk shit about the Chiefs, as I always do, because the Chiefs bring it on themselves. What they do is go, hey, that worked well this year, let's get rid of it. Let's make that disappear. I don't know if I'd be surprised if we wanted to trade Patrick Mahomes next year, or in the offseason. It would be a what the fuck kind of thing, but it would be like, it's the Chiefs. It worked well, so we're going to get rid of it. The other big thing with the Chiefs is, we'll play to win the entire season. We'll look like the best team in the NFL. This year's no exception. Then we'll get to the playoffs, and we'll look like a high school scrub team playing an NFL team. What was that? What happened? We're down by 40? What? What happened? I'll never forget the one year I thought we got over that hump of the playoffs. We were up something like 35-10 entering the fourth quarter. Or no, at halftime. Entering the fourth quarter, the other team was down by 7 or something, and I was like, we're losing. We're going to lose bad. The other team ended up winning by 2 or 3 scores. We suck in the playoffs. But maybe Patrick Mahomes makes it better. Maybe he does. He is a special kind of talent. And he's got all the weapons in the world around him. But that's not what I'm talking about. Nebraska. There's starting to be national websites and such putting out articles saying, oh, well, if Nebraska fires Scott Frost, it's going to cost them this amount of money, like $28 million right now or some shit like that. We don't have to worry about that. It could be just like that. We could go winless this year. We could probably go winless next year. He might be on the hot seat after that. But as long as there's steady improvement, there is a reason He got a 7-year contract. You look at other teams. Look at where USC is. Look at where UCLA is. Look at where Michigan is. Look at where Texas is. Texas. They've been down arguably since their last national championship, which, even at that time, they were not a good team. They had that one guy, I can't remember his name offhand. They had him. That was it. He was the only reason they got there. He was the only reason they won the national championship. He was an incredible player. As soon as he leaves, they take a dive. They get Colt McCoy, goes up slightly, then take a dive, and they haven't been back until this year. Tom Herman, I think is the coach's name. He's been there for like 3 years. He's finally got the culture corrected. And look where they are. Right now, I think they're ranked number 8 in the country. They're on the uptick. Now, Texas has traditionally been a team that wins a lot of games. Never been traditionally a team that gets like a lot of national championships or anything of that nature. But we will see where it goes. But it is on the positive uptick, and they are ranked in the top 10. Look at Michigan. Michigan has been down about as long as Nebraska has. Just like Texas and just like Nebraska, Michigan is a traditional power. Michigan has gone through coach after coach trying to figure it out. The thing that they couldn't figure out is what Nebraska figured out this last offseason when we got rid of Mike Riley. It's culture that needs to be changed. And you can't just have a coach come in and expect that in the first 2, maybe 3 years, maybe in 3 years, that they're going to win a national championship. It is not going to happen. Michigan is currently in 4 years of Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, the same one who took Stanford from nothing. They were nothing when he signed on to be their coach. No, they never won a national title. But they went from averaging about 4 wins a year to winning the Pac-12, winning BCS bowl games, ending seasons with like 1 loss. Went to the NFL. I think he went to the 49ers. I don't know if he won the Super Bowl, but he went to the Super Bowl. Comes to his alma mater in Michigan. First year, crap. Second year, crap. Third year, you see the improvement, but ends up being an 8-win year, which is disappointing for Michigan. This year, they look like they're every bit as good as... the first few weeks, when they had their loss, it looked like they were still where they were last year. Where they are now, I honestly think the Nebraska game was a turning point for Michigan. They started to look like a different team. Unfortunately, at the expense of Nebraska, because that was the only game we were not in. And now they're just rolling. They're beating the hell out of everybody. Now they're ranked in the top 10. Now they're looking at possible berth into the playoffs. If they beat Penn State and they beat Ohio State at the end of the year, and they have that 1 loss from the beginning of the year, you bet your ass they're in the playoffs. Especially with the Georgia loss. Because Georgia will have at least 1 more loss, say, if Bama beats them for the SEC. That'll be a 2-loss Georgia team versus a 1-loss Michigan team. They'll take the 1-loss Michigan. Look at UCLA. They're in the exact same spot that Nebraska is. They have a big-time premier coach in Chip Kelly, who took Oregon all the way to the national championship. They took Oregon, who was... they were better than what Stanford was before Jim Harbaugh took over Stanford. But they weren't much better. And he took Oregon to where their expectations are a 10-win year, which is significantly better. He took them all the way to the national championship, and they were 1 point away from winning. I think it was 2012. Right now, he's winless in his first year at UCLA. Now, from what I've heard, UCLA fans are worse than Nebraska fans as far as, well, we're not winning, so the coach needs to go. I don't know if that's true because there is a lot of Nebraska fans that bitch. Trust me, it's coming from a Nebraska fan. I see the shit online. There's a lot of fans that are going, well, we've never been this bad, blah, blah, blah. Mike Riley inked out a few wins with this team. Blah, blah, blah. Mike Riley wasn't trying to change a culture. Mike Riley was using a different kind of offense that these players were recruited for. Most importantly, Mike Riley didn't give a shit if these players practiced. Mike Riley did not hold them accountable. Frost holds them accountable. That's a big reason also why we've had so many transfers. But look at USC. They were down for a few years. Now they're rolling. They've had 2 losses on this season, but it's looking like they're going to be like where Michigan was last year. But I'm just saying, as far as how bad it is right now, it's not as bad as it looks. Like I said, Nebraska's been in every game this year, minus the Michigan game. That Michigan game was over at half. Wisconsin, we were in with Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin just got blown out by Michigan, and yes, they dropped a lot in the polls. But that is a very good Wisconsin team. They have a fairly good offense, and they have one of the top 10 defenses in the country. That is a Wisconsin team, I think, that finishes top 15. Don't think they finished top 10. I never truly believed they were a top 10 team. I did have them in the top 10 because I felt like they were one of the only teams at that time that deserved to be there. But it'll get corrected. Just like, you don't see a coach come into a university very often and start winning. The only time that happens, like when Bo Pelini took over at Nebraska, his first year was a 9-win year. You know why that was? Callahan was great at recruiting. He had a lot of talent on the team. He was just too loyal to his defensive coordinator, and so we were giving up 60 points a game. We had talent even on defense. Bo Pelini comes in. That first year, that defense is a top 10 defense. Now, granted, Bo Pelini was shit at recruiting. That was his big issue. So by the time Callahan's recruits were gone, we started to look worse. We'd beat the teams we were supposed to beat. Sometimes not pretty. And then if we were supposed to lose, it was over at half. But a lot of people say we shouldn't have fired Bo. Bo was a 9-win coach. I think the first year of Mike Riley, he wasn't going to win 9 games. 9 wins was going to be Bo Pelini's peak. A lot of people say we shouldn't have fired Solich. Love Tom Osborne to death. He was wrong about Solich. If you need any other explanation as to why he was wrong, why is Solich not at a big-time school right now? Why is he still at the school he went to right after Nebraska, which is, it's not Buffalo, but it's up in that area somewhere. And it took him about 8 years to go to his conference championship game. And that is the peak of their season. If he was a good coach, not only would he be taken out of there, he would have had that team in the top 10. And it's a little different, when you're a good coach at a small school like Chris Peterson at Washington. When he was at Boise State, they were top 10. Not because they had the talent to stay with any of those teams in the top 10 week in and week out. Yeah, for one week, yeah, you could. But it was because when you're a good coach, a weak university is not going to beat you. Not very often. But the thing that hurts Nebraska right now is the change in culture. That's why you see a lot of penalties. I haven't noticed for UCLA, but I bet you they have a lot of penalties, and that would be a big reason why they're not winning. I haven't looked closely at what's going on with UCLA, but they're in the same boat. But you fast forward 3-4 years from now, I bet you see both UCLA and Nebraska in the top 10. Neither team might be ready for national championships, but we'll be fighting for playoff spots. And that's more than we can say since the playoffs were implemented, at least for Nebraska. Anyways, thank you so much. Like I said, I think it was Royal Nas that recommended this. It is a damn good Marzen, and I love it to death. I could crush the whole 4-pack today if I wanted to, which is what this style of beer is intended for. So that is a compliment to this beer. Would I buy this again? Hell yeah. Especially for that $8 price tag for a 4-pack. $2 a can? Bullshit, I'll take that any day. Rating. By the way, I can't believe it only gets a 3.59. I'll give it a 4.5. I think this is good enough to be a 4.5. Anyways, this has been a very long episode. Till next time, Prost.